What's up, guys? Jimmy P here.
Izzit Dev signing in.
Rotted Peach Productions coming to you live from the Rotted Peach Productions studios. We got we got a special video for you guys today. An AEW speculation based on our personal experiences going to All In. Stuff that's been released in the press and on the Being the Elite YouTube show.
We also pulled some speculations from things happening inside of WWE. You know, there's always some forecasting signs, things of that history always repeats itself is basically what I'm trying to say, and you can definitely see the signs with several people there as well.
All right, guys. So let's take you back to the beginning, to when this all started, like the actual beginning, not just when things were announced. Izzit, can you tell us a little bit about when this all started?
Well, I believe the hype train started with Dave Meltzer, you know, making the infamous bet, and from there we go to the debut of the ticket sales, and the tickets selling out in less than 30 minutes. What, 28 minutes was it? 28 minutes?
Yeah, 28 minutes for All In. That's what he's talking about.
And so we move fast forward a little bit, and July 17th we actually have All Elite Wrestling LLC filed with the company address of TIAA Bankfield. Of course, for those of you who don't know, that's the Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium location. So this has been in the works since at least July.
Yeah, and if you guys didn't know this, the son of the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars is a huge wrestling fan. He was at all the New Japan Long Beach shows, has been an avid fan, you know, so is probably looking for an avenue to get into a product like this.
Definitely, there's no doubt.
So let's fast forward to All In. Now, wow, what an experience All In was. So we can take some of our experiences to help with our speculation here and show that there were signs that of some of the people that were actually probably going over to this AEW promotion all the way back to then. And in particular, I want to talk about the SCU guys.
SCU.
Now, being there at the time, it didn't seem like such a big deal, but when it came to autograph signings, when it came to you know, meet and greets or the big podcasts or anything like that, if it didn't have to deal with the Elite or any of those guys, then it seemed to be the SCU guys. What do you think about that?
They were definitely like the unspoken members of the Elite, it felt like. Even down to smoking cigars, smoking mirrors with Cody and Frankie. I was there. It was a great time. And Scorpio Sky showed up and just hung out and kind of just felt like one of the gang, him and Frankie and Cody. Like, it was all just interchangeable with the members of the Elite. They were all one and the same, kind of seemed like.
Exactly. And then also from that, like, you know, you can look at some of the other wrestlers that were actually there on the card. Guys that Cody was promoting on his own YouTube show, All Us. MJF, who is like a more edgier Miz, I want to say. He's really good in kayfabe. He keeps his character all the time. He was a total dick when we met him at All In.
He made sure to let me know that I was poor and I shouldn't look at him.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, great character work, this guy. So I can see why Cody appreciates him. You had guys there like Matt Cross, Son of Havoc, who, you know, I know he wrestles for Lucha Underground, but he doesn't seem to be under the same kind of restrictions as some of these other guys, because he just be showing up and wrestling everywhere. So, you know, all these guys that were there that aren't currently signed to like big contracts that we know of are definitely potentials for being at All In. I mean, for AEW.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
No doubt. Another thing we get into, like you said, the people at StarCast and from that weekend, definitely a big precursor to the roster, even down to, you know, Jim Ross. Jim Ross was there, and I think a funny thing we could see is I joked about it, but Fat Massa coming in as maybe a manager or some type of backstage role.
Yeah, and I remember hearing something, I can't quite remember where, but Fat Massa was more popular than some of the actual wrestlers were there, and I know he sold out of t-shirts.
Yeah, that guy has definitely got some heat. It would not surprise me to see a Fat Massa sighting.
Now, moving forward from our experiences at All In and StarCast, we get to the actual announcement that this company, All Elite Wrestling or something, I mean, they haven't announced it as a company yet, but I'm pretty sure based on this newest episode of Being the Elite where Cody pretty much spoiled it on accident, or maybe not so much an accident.
Never an accident with those guys.
Exactly. But the announcement happens, a lot of things start to change. WWE starts getting scared and locking guys down to crazy exclusive deals. The expansion in Britain, the British independent scene is getting scarce. Ring of Honor is scrambling to lock guys down. I know there might have been a little bit of shade there because it was publicly expressed kind of that Cody and the Young Bucks really wanted to sign Bandito. But because of the fact that they hadn't announced or they didn't have any paperwork or anything from him, Ring of Honor went in there and like swooped him up, signed him to an exclusive contract for big money.
Big money, yes. It was definitely a substantial. He jumped right on it. There was no hesitation. He said, "Hey, these guys showed me scheduling and where we would be, and All Elite was not offering me any specific information yet, and I had to go with what was presented before me."
Right. So, some of these bigger names, newscasters such as like What Culture, Dave Meltzer, other people like this at this point, they don't know what AEW exactly is. I mean, these trademarks have names like All Out, Tuesday Night Dynamite.
Oh, we didn't have the Tuesday Night Dynamite up, but...
Right, but...
Fight for the Fallen.
Fight for the Fallen was just recently applied for on December 18th.
Yeah, a little bit longer than 4 days, but yeah, definitely very recent.
Exactly, and that's even fueling more speculation that these are pay-per-views and that they might have a TV deal already in the works. I mean, look what they did with WGN. I mean, I know that wasn't their most successful broadcast, but that still brought in, I think it was almost 200,000 viewers to the product, and that was just for a pre-show pretty much. And like, not only that, it was one of the most amazing pre-shows that's ever been.
And there was hardly any advertising. It was such a last-minute thing, and to still generate that kind of viewership from a last-minute sort of... I mean, a lot of things get promoted. We know about where WrestleMania is going to be in major events over a year in advance. People are well aware. And there was, was it 2 weeks or 3 weeks before All In they announced?
Not even. I'm going to say 2 weeks
and
tops.
They still racked up 200K at least.
Absolutely incredible. Yeah. So, like, all the signs are there. Then there was this crazy rumor about Jericho and Jim Ross, like, being the ones that were behind the deal, which was, like, totally smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, there seems to be a little bit of that in this whole...
I wouldn't be surprised if these guys were involved in some way or another, but I think Jim Ross, it might be mainly because, he has such experience booking talent, working with talent.
Does he return to the commentator booth?
I don't think so.
No.
I think that he's past that. Maybe for special occasions.
Their pay-per-views, he comes out, dusts off the microphone, or whatever you do to old microphones.
Right. So, we've seen the last official episode of Being the Elite before...
With the walkout, like the four guys
exactly
heading off into the sunset.
Going off into the sunset. They called it Leaving the Territory. Yeah. I thought it was a very fitting finale for their time in Ring of Honor.
It's classy.
It was very. And then also at the end of that video, then something else real crazy happened because then the clock started to tick for the members of SCU. Now, this is crazy because, kayfabe storyline Ring of Honor, Kazarian and Scorpio Sky had gotten 2-year deals, so I don't know if, that's going to get dropped or something's going to get put on the line.
Maybe there was a buyout on the contract and they opted out somebody.
Yeah, or maybe they just thought that they could sign them and then things didn't work out. And then on this last episode, the Christmas episode of Being the Elite, Kazarian kind of cut like a scathing promo on ROH as far as their heads up and their higher ups and the pay.
That was
very intense. I'm wondering how that's going to work with the relationship with Ring of Honor, if that was just a work or...
Venom.
It was pretty ugly. So, and then there's the stuff like they signed Bandito kind of like, so I wonder if that's like a shot fired, like, hey.
Little mini war.
Exactly. So, the last part we want to talk about is, roster speculation, of course, because, we're pretty sure this is happening. The announcement's supposed to come January 1st, although on the newest episode of Being the Elite, they said that there was going to be something on New Year's Eve. So, we'll see how that goes. But we're just going to take a little time now here and break it down who we absolutely think is going to be on the roster, and then we're going to give you our speculations on who we think they might be able to pick up.
Yeah. 5 for sure. Immediately. You've got the guaranteed Bucks.
All right, so yes, we're saying the Young Bucks. This is main rosters for sure. Young Bucks, Cody, Adam Page, Brandy, Chris Jericho, Scorpio Sky, Frankie Kazarian, Christopher Daniels, and yes, I'm going to say it, Kenny Omega.
After his contract runs out at the end of January.
Absolutely. I totally think that it's time for him to do his thing there, especially since I feel like the winds of change are going on in New Japan right now, and they're ready to, like...
They don't like that CEO. That guy just isn't from the wrestling game, and he's kind of rubbing everyone the wrong way.
Kenny's done all he can really do now that he's won the World Championship.
He has. He played his whole storyline out with the Rainmaker. It was epic.
Yeah, the only thing I was really disappointed about that was the Kota Ibushi thing. I think it could have been way more epic than they made it. The match was amazing, don't get me wrong, but that could have been like 6 months of storytelling. But that's just me. All right.
You can't even make anything 6 months of storytelling.
All right, so that was their mains, and now speculations. Izzit, you want to give your speculations first?
I've got a few here. I think that out of the WWE, we've got several people that aren't doing well with their storyline or maybe not happy with their position. I've got guys like Tyler Breeze, who's part of this and now seems to have regressed to NXT and jobbing out on NXT on top of the regression.
How far you have fallen.
Another guy, I feel like Dolph Ziggler. It was incredible his build up to getting his championship and then to get that concussion and lose his title. And it just seems like ever since then he just never has come. I mean, sure, he's gotten the title a couple times with the smaller titles, but never a major championship or any type of run ever since then. Bray Wyatt, another guy. Shout out to Tatovic. I'm gonna get this wrong. Hunanian, aka Tatovic the Gamer, for trademarking Sister Abigail on June 5th.
Props to you, bro. You was thinking forward.
Oh man, can't believe they didn't have whoopsies.
Whoopsies, WWE.
So that guy kind of has the whole Bray Wyatt character. I mean, he showed up in November for a little bit. He had that weird title run for a little bit with the Hardy Brother, but it felt wrong, and I think that he could do a lot better with a fresh start. Another guy, Sami Zayn.
Oh my! Now, this one I like.
The main, you see the problems emerge with him and his buddy Kevin Owens getting kicked out of the tour bus and the tour in Europe, and it kind of set the tone. He did so awesome in NXT. I remember his incredible.
His first feud with Kevin Owens was great. They did a really good job transitioning that feud from Ring of Honor to something more akin to a WWE product.
Yeah, and now there's just, I mean, I remember the El Generico days, and it just...
I miss you. Come back from Mexico.
To have a fresh start with him would be something really nice to see for me, myself, and just in general. I think everyone would win with that kind of deal. I don't know. Sasha Banks has spoken out against the company.
I also really like this pick. Sasha Banks, I mean, it looks like maybe WWE might be giving her and Bayley that inaugural run with the women's championships, but if that doesn't happen, I could see someone like Sasha Banks, who is an absolutely fearless contender,
ridiculous,
making something of herself somewhere like All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah, without a doubt. Unequivocally, the most ridiculous was for pound, was she like 15 pounds Grand Metalik.
Oh my, yes, Grand Metalik. Now, obviously, this is a new hot story hitting the presses about a recent tweet that this guy sent out that was quickly deleted, I'm sure at the behest of WWE.
Tweet and delete.
That's what we call that around here. But pretty much asking, where he should go wrestle at next, either in the independents or even back in CMLL. So the dishappiness is there, and that dude's an excellent wrestler. He was
he the king of the ropes? What's he doing?
Yeah, that's what they call him. But I mean, he was like he was in the main event of the first Cruiserweight Classic, losing to TJP. But that match was amazing, and like
Dave Meltzer probably gave it a 4.5.
Yeah, right. He probably gave it like a 3.5.
Yeah.
But Grand Metalik is obviously unhappy. That kind of leads me into what I got going on here, and I'll go ahead and jump off you from there, and I'm going to go ahead and say Andrade Cien Almas.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
What an underused talent. Like, this is the greatest example of amazing talent getting squandered here. Now, like, he came out hot, then they turned him off, then they put him in some, like, really high-profile matches, and then they turned him off. He had that amazing run in NXT as the champion.
Yeah.
And now look at him. He's just jobbing. He jobbed to Mustafa Ali.
No, yeah.
Like, that would almost be... It's unacceptable, honestly. Like, don't get me wrong, props to Mustafa Ali and everything, but we're talking about frickin' Los Sombra here. One of the founding members of Los Ingobernables, and he's here jobbing the 205 Live Stars, living in the, like, upper mid-card. Like, this is unacceptable, and this guy is destined for bigger things, I believe.
Yeah, definitely love to see him with a fresh start.
All right. Some other people, like I've already talked about, Jimmy Havoc and MJF, guys from All In. I just feel like they're performers that can be gotten for a reasonable amount of pay, that are excellent workers that would be great to help fill out this roster.
Gotta have jobbers.
Oh, MJF will be one of the greatest.
The Penta Alta jobber.
Joey Janela. Now I got a question mark here because there's a couple things going on. For one, Penelope Ford, his real life girlfriend, is at the WWE Performance Center right now.
Yeah, she's got to do something while her old man's healing up.
Exactly, and usually when you get a girlfriend in there, the boyfriend, they usually follow.
He's not far behind.
Mm-mm. That's an easy way in, and plus he's you know how that goes, relationships and stuff. But so that's a possibility. A fearless wrestler, he'd be good for 205 Live with his crazy style. Another person that's on my list is Shane Hurricane Helms. Now
he was in the Rumble, the All-In Rumble.
He's been everywhere.
He was wheeling and dealing on the Being the Elite show as well.
Exactly. WWE, I don't think, is using him. Like, I know for a while he was there as a producer, but I think that all went south. He showed up in Ring of Honor and was doing this series of I don't care what anybody says. They were awesome matches with Marty Scurll, hero versus villain.
Marty Scurll.
Oh, just getting me excited. Now, one thing, an addendum right here. We do believe that Marty Scurll will eventually make his way to
Villain
AEW.
Club is just, they got to keep him happy. He's going to be there another 6 months.
He's still got another 6 months on his contract with Ring of Honor.
Definitely.
So we'll see how that goes. Maybe they're going to make him their world champion and give him some money. So maybe he'll just stay there and just work with the guys. But we'll just put that on the side for now. But I definitely think we'll see Marty Scurll.
Yeah.
So anyway, Shane Helms, I think, because he was just working those matches, he's not signed to an ROH contract that I'm aware of. And so he is a veteran that can bring veteran presence, advice, and he's just an overall, he can still work. So now let's talk about a couple of British guys. For one, Jimmy effing Havoc. Now,
how many times and how long has he been teased?
Oh, freaking forever. And like, if you go back to Cody's original list back when he left the WWE, Jimmy Havoc's name was definitely on there. They've recently had some barn burners. I mean, some of the bloodiest matches Cody Rhodes has ever been in, for sure. And, he's well respected in the industry. He's a veteran. Cody just absolutely loves him. He's shown up in an episode of Being the Elite recently where they had a list, and I felt like that was kind of like a little nod that, hey, Jimmy Havoc's going to be here. And that brings that good death style kind of, like he's like a safe death worker, I guess you could say.
Is that even a thing?
I
guess they could team him with Joey Janela.
You better look that up in the dictionary.
Yeah, Joey Janela.
Some other freelancers that we could see show up is Zack Sabre Jr.
Of course.
And my boy, Will Ospreay.
The ballroom dancer himself.
I mean, dude is a madman. I can't say enough about Will Ospreay. He's gonna be on my fave 3 forever, rotating out with the Young Bucks and all them guys. But these guys are killing it on the independent scene. They're not really willing to sign steady contracts with any particular one.
Pac's having his first match in how long?
Oh, in a while. I mean, he's been having these matches in Dragon Gate, but he's about to have this dream match with Will Ospreay in February. We'll get to Neville in a minute.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Will Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr. bring back 2 amazing different styles, but like they're the top of the game at their styles. Like Zack Sabre Jr. is an excellent chain wrestler, all about those grapples and breaking arms, fingers, and legs. And then we got the flying Will Ospreay. If you get either of those guys for your roster, then you're doing well for yourself. And with this stuff happening in the British independent scene right now, these guys are going to need places to work.
Yeah.
They're going to need people to work with. So this is a huge possibility for them, which then brings me to the last British guy I want to talk about here, Neville. Pac himself. Yes, let's stop calling him Neville. He is now Pac. Apologies there, Mr. Pac, sir. But this guy has been teased. I mean, there's been some stuff online that says that he actually turned down a big money offer to be at All In. Now, this was probably during the time where he was trying to figure out what to do with himself. He may or may not have been under his no compete clause. That's been kept under tight wraps, and nobody actually knows.
Yeah, they don't talk. I haven't heard any talk about that.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, he showed back up in Dragon Gate about a month ago, and won the Open the Dream Gate title, and that's where he started out, got his notoriety. So I think he went back there to like kind of
refine himself.
Yeah, get off the ring rust, which was a great idea, I think. And then eventually, I see him either, working out a deal with New Japan or, bam, AEW, because it's going to be the newest, hottest thing.
Yeah, it's going to have all the sizzle.
It's going to have all these great wrestlers. I mean, it's the perfect place for it. So, yeah, that's kind of like our guesses there. I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up for our AEW speculation. What we want to know is what you guys think about what's going to happen on January 1st. We want to know who you think is going to be on the roster. Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, you can help us out by liking, subscribing, sharing this video with all your friends. For Rotted Peach Productions, I'm Jimmy P.
Izzit Dev.
And we'll see you